We are going live now. It is working.
Okay. So I'll just
Hey,
start
quickly,
where I left off then.
Rob, do you just want to shoot a note to Dennis? I see that he's we lost him again. I know he was here for roll call. I don't know if you can try and get him back on, but just a heads up on that.
Don't see him back in the room yet.
And we need to make sure he knew he was booted out.
Well, you can commence, Mayor, and obviously if he's not in, then his votes will just be an absentee, but hopefully he can get back on.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish the statement. So the Wyoming City Council meeting will be recorded as part of the public record. After each agenda item is read and staff gives a report on the agenda item, I will call upon each council member individually if they have questions on that particular item. If you wish to make a motion or second a motion, please state your name first. All votes on all items will be completed by a roll call to meet the standard for the state statute 13D.021. And I was hoping to, now with Council Member Zeros retired as our Pledge of Allegiance leader and our vet, my hope is that Member Schilling will be able to do that. Is he back in yet?
I just spoke with him briefly. He said that he has restarted his computer. He was having some sort of technical difficulty and that he's going to try to, it's just restarting and he'll log back in here momentarily. I don't know if council would like to wait a minute for him or if we want to proceed.
Let's just see if he comes back in. I like having our veteran on council to be able to lead us in the pledge. So let's see. So while we're waiting for that, for our audience, just some brief news. First of all, we have a new format. Since being mayor the last 4 years, we've worked really hard on being transparent and we've made a lot of changes. And tonight is probably our biggest change to make sure that we continue with that transparency in the technology. What you're going to notice is our agenda now is, what would we call it? You can go in and rewatch this video, go on the agenda, and it will take you exactly where that meeting is at for that agenda item. So the great thing about that is you don't have to search through the whole meeting. You'll be able to go to what you want to hear and what you want to see. And it's very interactive. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Tonight is our first night. We might have a few little hiccups every now and then, but I think it's just a great addition to making sure we stay transparent as a council. So with that, I see Member Schilling is back on, and Member Schilling is our veteran. And Member Schilling, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I will mute my mic.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All
right, thank you. We tonight are going to start with the swearing in of the mayor. And Mr. Linwood, you're going to do that, or you want me to just read it?
Mayor, up to you. I can have you repeat, or you can go ahead and read it yourself if you'd like, whatever your preference is.
I'll go ahead and read it. All right. I, Lisa Iverson, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and to discharge faithfully the duties of the office of mayor of the city of Wyoming, Minnesota, and to the best of my judgment and ability. And I'm looking forward to serving another 4 years. All right. And then Mr. Linwood, you'll be doing the other council members?
Yes, Mayor Iverson. Mayor Nanko Yeager, would you like to just read the statement directly, or would you like me to read it so you can repeat it back?
Oh, I'll read it directly.
Okay.
I, Linda Nanko Yeager, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and to discharge faithfully the duties of the office of City Council Member of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God.
Thank you. Councilmember Onstead, same question. Would you like me to read it to you, or do you like to just read the oath yourself?
I'd like you to read it to me, please.
Okay. Mr. Onstead, if you could repeat after me. I, Brett Onstead, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States,
I, Brett Onstead, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and to discharge faithfully the duties of office, and to discharge faithfully the duties of the office of City Council Member
and to discharge faithfully the duties of City Council Member
of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability.
for the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability.
Well done. Thank you.
Congratulations, Member Onstad. You worked really hard to get here, and it's going to be a great 4 years. Welcome to council.
Looking forward to it.
Rob, is that it? Oh, yeah. That would be it. Okay, all right. And so we'll go on to Officer Edwards. Officer Edwards, you'll repeat after me.
Just 1 minute before we go into the oath, I just want to make a quick presentation. We're excited to introduce Officer Edwards as our newest officer here in the city of Wyoming, a resident for I think the lifetime, if I'm not mistaken. So she has grown up here in Wyoming, and she's going to continue to grow in Wyoming as well. So we're extremely excited to have her joining our force. Bachelor's degree, she's had some internships along the way, so she comes with some good experience and connection with our community. And before we read the oath to Officer Edwards, I think it's just important to just kind of reflect on what really happens in the ceremonial event of doing the oath of office. This is where we present our officers with their badge, and it's a really important event for an officer to get their badge for the first time. If we look at the history of the badge, it goes all the way back to the Knights of the Round Table, when they weren't issued a badge back then, but they were issued a shield, and it was a heavy shield. And over the years, that's transformed into a badge, or what we call the shield. And even though it's small in size, it carries the same weight and burden that it did all the way back to the Knights of the Round Table. With the swearing in, Officer Edwards is going to take an oath to protect and to serve. And it comes with burden, and it comes with weight, and it comes with good judgment, and it comes with a lot of different things that can burden over a person, over the career. And I say that from someone who's got more than 30 years into law enforcement. It comes with great weight, comes with great dignity, and comes with great pride if you carry that badge and you carry that shield with honor and integrity and ethics. And so as we present Ms. Edwards as our newest officer, we present her with her badge or her shield to protect and serve our community. We're honored to have her part of our organization. And with that, I present Officer Edwards to you, Mayor Iverson, for the ceremonial oath of office.
There you go. Are you ready, Allison?
Yes.
All right. I, Allison Edwards, do solemnly swear
I, Allison Edwards, do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States,
to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and to discharge faithfully the duties of police officer
and to discharge the duties faithfully as police officer
of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota,
of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Awesome. Congratulations. So excited and very proud to have a homegrown police officer.
And we have Allison's family here joining us today as well. And her father is going to pin her badge on, the badge of honor. You can just set it here, you don't have to pin it all. You can just put it down. All right, congratulations. Welcome aboard. Excited to have you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I don't know. I got goosebumps with that. So just saying, I'm pretty excited to have Officer Edwards in our city. and that she chose us. All right, the annual meeting is next. We need to designate the resolution. The resolution is 20-01-01 is the Forest Lake Times. Is there any comments or discussions? Trying to get used to our new format, sorry. Okay, so if there are, I'm looking at everybody, shake your head. Are there no comments or questions? If not, I need a motion to approve resolution 2101-01, designating the Forest Lake Times.
Onstead will make a motion.
We have our first motion by Councilmember Onstead. Do we have a second?
Member Luger will second.
Member Luger makes the second. Roll call, please. Member Schilling?
Aye.
Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Luger?
Aye.
Member Onstad?
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Designate official depository for the city funds for 2020, resolution 21-01-02. There are 3 of them. Mr. Linwood, did you want to say anything about those?
No, essentially, this is just the designation of our city funds. As you can see on the resolution, there are different institutions. PMA is where the city analyzes our investments in cash flow, RBC, and then the First State Bank of Wyoming. This is an annual occurrence necessary by state statute.
And we have not changed. These have been with us for several years now.
Correct. The PMA was added a few years ago, but this otherwise has remained the same. Correct.
Okay. Just looking around the room, are there any questions regarding this? If not, we do need a motion to approve.
Onstead will make the motion.
Member Onstead makes the first. Do we have a second?
Member Schilling will second.
Member Schilling makes the second. Roll call, please. Member Luger?
Aye.
Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Schilling?
Aye.
Member Onstad?
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 3 is to elect an acting mayor to serve in the absence of the mayor during 2021. I would like to put forth Member Luger. She does a great job when she's had to fill in for me a couple of times. Is there any questions or opposition? If there is not, we need a motion to approve.
Member Schilling so moved.
Member Schilling makes the first. Do we have a second?
Onstead will make the second.
Member Onstead makes that second, and we will do roll call. Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Luger?
Aye.
Member Onstead?
Aye.
Member Schilling?
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. And you know what, Member Luger, I probably should have asked you first. So sorry about that. All right, number 4, review council appointments to boards, commissions, committees, and boards of trustees for the Fire Department and Relief Association. Are there any comments or questions?
I have some questions. Member Yeager.
Councilmember Yeager?
The watershed district is currently listed as open, but Mark Lobermeyer's letter of interest says he would like to continue as watershed liaison. So why don't we just make him watershed liaison? Back page of his letter of interest. Where he says, I look forward to your thoughtful consideration of my application to continue to serve on the city's planning commission and as watershed liaison.
Council members, I'm not completely sure if that was Mr. Lobermeyer's intent. I don't disagree with Councilmember Yeager. Certainly has stated that in the letter. I think we can do that tentatively, but if it's okay with the council, I would like to maybe after this confirm with Mr. Lobermeyer that that was his intent. And obviously we can bring this up at our next meeting, but if we'd like to go forward with it tonight, we can, but I just want to make sure that that was the intention, because I think perhaps this maybe was a template letter and maybe that was included and not the intent.
Okay. That's
All
fine.
right.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Why was rush line to be determined?
So looking at the rush line and just how long it's going to take before it gets to Wyoming, and if it does, several of our sister cities, North Branch, Chisago, have decided not to send a liaison as well. So we just don't feel at this time that the rush line is one of those committees that are going to be very very important right now. Maybe we'll look back at it in 10, 20 years when it comes this way, but just thought it would be better that we can put our council members into different positions.
Okay, well, here are some reasons to continue with the rush line. First, that it did bring brush service to Forest Lake that Wyoming and Chisago County residents use. It also brought a park and ride to Lent Township that Chisago County residents use. In the current project, yes, all true. It's all in Ramsey County, and a lot of the north is like, why bother? Well, in Wyoming's case, they are considering adding a spur that would connect the BRT terminus in White Bear Lake to Forest Lake. This would be something that Wyoming and Chisago County residents may very well use to, get to their jobs. Another reason is that you're attracting, if attracting affordable housing still continues to be your goal, then Wyoming will need transit to service the residents and get them to their Twin Cities jobs. That would argue for having somebody, at least on the committee, to keep an eye on that. So when the time comes, maybe 10, 20 years, but if you get affordable housing sooner, you might get the transit sooner. The last reason would be, why give up a seat at the table and a vote if there's a council member willing to do the work and attend the meetings, which I am. I've been doing it for the last 12 years and the vice chair of the committee, of the task force. So a meeting or two a year is no problem for me to go to.
Okay.
And considering what else I'm, if it's just sewer commission, I do have the time.
Okay, well, I appreciate your remarks. I do know that many businesses now are looking at going forward into the pandemic, and as we get out of it, that people will be working from home and they won't be needing as much transit going into the cities, which has me concerned that the rush line then will not be coming to Wyoming. It won't be a top priority for them. So I just feel that the time will be better at going forward in this year. We can always look at it next year, but I feel very strongly that that should be something that we wait on. Would other council members like to weigh in on this? No? All right. So are there any other questions?
I would like to comment.
Sure.
I feel that if we have a seat at the table at that, I don't think we can lose having someone there. I think it's just, if someone is willing to work on that, I don't see it as being a bad thing for the city. I think Ms. Yeager makes some good points.
Okay, thank you. I still say that it's not coming this way for another 10, 20 years. Council member Yeager has been on it for 12 years and it's still not here. I think it's been going 20 years now, I think. Does anybody else wish to weigh in on this? No? All right. Are there any other questions or comments regarding the commissions, appointed commissions and boards? If not, we will need a motion to approve.
So moved, Member Lugar.
Member Lugar makes that first on resolution 21-01-03. Do we have a second? I see you, Member
Schilling, so moved. Jeez, I can't get
right.
my stupid thing to work.
It's the night. All right, so we do have a second by Member Schilling. Roll call, please. Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Lugar.
Aye.
Member Schilling.
Aye.
Member Onstad. Member Onstad, you are muted.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
and Mayor Iverson is an aye. Number 5, establishing the 2021 regular meeting nights of the City Council of the City of Wyoming budget and the budget calendar for 2020 budget. Mr. Linwood, do you have anything you'd like to talk about with this one, or are we good to go?
Just a brief overview. We simply go through the due diligence to make sure that we don't have council conflicts, whether it's elections or holidays. We have noted that August 4th, we're hopeful that moving that meeting from Tuesday to Wednesday, that we would be able to this year have our National Night Out celebration again, once in person. So I think it's appropriate that we're hopeful and move that meeting to the Wednesday. The budget process calendar has been presented. I'd like to note to the council that there was 2 small changes. The item for the first draft of the budget due, that says July 5th. We've updated that with a document that would be July 7th. And then the council meeting on that it's identified as September 14th, that would be September 7th. Other than that, it should be accurate.
All right. Any questions or comments? I'm not seeing that there are, so we do need a motion to approve the regular meeting nights of the City Council and the budget calendar for 2022 budget. I'll make the first motion. Do we have a second?
Member Luger will second.
All right, we have Member Luger as the second. Roll call, please. Member Schilling.
Aye.
Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Luger.
Aye.
And Member Onstad.
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 6 on our agenda, set the annual fee for the city services, resolution 20-01-04. Mr. Linwood, do you have some things you'd like to share with that? And then if we have any questions.
Certainly. Mayor, members of council, this is an annual exercise that the City Council sets the fee schedule for the year. You'll see that there are not many changes for 2021 that staff has recommended. We tried to go through and do some due diligence on these to make sure that they're fair and in line with other communities to our similar size. Some of the changes that you'll see for 2021 are essentially our ones for our water, sewer, and stormwater rates. Those have been adjusted by a utility study that we did on the water and sewer in 2018, and those have been adjusted appropriately. And then most recently, the stormwater study that we completed at the end of 2019, and those being updated. There are a few items that I believe I'll let Mr. Almgeld, our Public Works Superintendent, talk about with slight adjustments. Those being the one cost for our water meter, and that's just a cost recovery, what we pay for the meter when it's given to a new homeowner, that's just simply cost recovery, and the cost on those has gone up slightly. The other item is right-of-way permits, and I'll let Mr. Almgeld, if you want to speak on those items. There is a slight change on 2 of those fees.
Thank you, Rob. Mayor and council members, we did a study of 17 cities that Wyoming always uses in their rate studies. We averaged them all out, and then we were very close. This is all in the right-of-way permits, except in 2 areas, and that was the trench base and the obstruction permit fee. The average fee for trenching was $162, and the city of Wyoming is at $125. And then the second item was the obstruction permit, and the average for that was $104, and Wyoming is at $40. And that's how we went up to 100 on the obstruction and 160 on the trench. And that was out of the 17 cities that we always survey. And then we had a 3% increase on the water meters, and that's why that rate went up for people who purchase them, new homes.
Okay. I will actually go around the room and ask if there are any questions. I am going to start with one that hopefully we can discuss. It's Chapter 6, Amusements and Entertainment. I can't tell you what page that's on, I'm sorry.
Page 18.
Page 18, thank you. And it talks about fees for entertainment, fees for bowling alleys, pool halls, And so I'd like to bring that up. I brought this up every year, so maybe this year might be a good year to talk about it some more. We have two businesses that I know of in town that have, well, one we know, bowling alleys. And then they also have gaming, electronic games, that sort of thing. I actually would like to see that we get rid of the bowling alley first lane and additional lane fee. I think that that should be all included in their business license. Same with pool tables. And then let's see, I know there's a game room licensing fee on that as well, and it's per machine. And two of our businesses have several machines in their facilities. So I actually would like to see that taken out. You know, we talk about our businesses going through things. I've just never thought that this was fair. I don't know the history of it. I believe my understanding from my research is we put this in like in 1985 or something like that. Mr. Linwood can correct me on that.
Approximately.
So I think that this, these fees, their times have come and gone. So that would be the first one. Maybe we should start with that with discussion, and then we'll bring up the next person who has some other ones. So can I start with Member Luger? Do you have any comments or questions regarding what I'm stating with these fees?
Nope.
Okay. Member Schilling?
No, I actually don't have any questions. I actually agree. I was hoping maybe we could shed some light on how these came about. But with you telling me 1984, there's probably a good chance that we can't. But I mean, if we can, great. But I don't see the point in per lane, additional lanes. I don't understand the pool tables. Yeah, I guess I've never understood that. I think their business license, liquor licensing covers that to me, but that's where I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Member Onstad?
I would have to agree. This, it seems like a archaic fee that should be included with their license. And I don't see any competition for more bowling alleys coming in. So I think that we could probably streamline our fee schedule by doing that.
Okay, thank you. And Member Yeager?
Well, why stop there? What is the annual license fee for entertainments used for? Public dances. Why do we have a public dance fee?
Member Linwood, can you fill us in on that public dance fee? And I'm just going back to my days when I worked, when there was a lot of dances and stuff. Is that more of just to help pay for the security or anything on that, or do we know?
The security is a completely separate issue. I think it's just more just some of the code that's in place. All of the items that council's talked about, they're all referred to as an appendix for the fee schedule. So there's nothing that we'd have to actually change in the ordinance. So if that was something that the council wanted to look at changing or flat out removing, that should be able to be done on this fee schedule. So that, you know, like I think once again, I think it's just something that was put back in years ago, and it just kind of has stayed throughout the duration. But you know how applicable some of them certainly, you know, may not see it in a lot of municipalities anymore.
All right,
Well,
so then the question would be, do we, as a council, I'm asking this, do we think about then the license fee for entertainment? What is that one, Mr. Linwood, compared to their business license or their liquor license and food license?
So I would have to look in the ordinance for the license fee for entertainments, but I can just tell you that right now, as of right now, we have not been using it for anything. There's nothing applicable that we have in town right now that's being charged.
Okay, so I'm looking at getting rid of the entertainment fee, the bowling alley fee, the first lane, additional lane, the pool table, first table, additional table, and to Member Yeager's comment, the public dance fee,
There were
which is
two.
$50.
There are two of them.
There were two of them.
There are two,
Yeah.
okay, so removing that. The game room license fee. I think we have to keep the investigation fee. Would that be correct?
I would recommend that the council keep that.
Okay. And then the
What
other
is-
would be the special
What is
one day.
the application fee? Where it says bingo, et cetera.
We do have where nonprofits, at times will they'll do, bingo or turkey bingo, or we do have to sign off on those as a city. There's different types of gambling permits. There's one, as clerk administrator, I can sign off, and then council in the past has been presented with some different ones, such as raffles, which the city council will have to sign off on those, but that's essentially what that bingo fee is.
Okay. And we would need to keep that.
That'd be at the council's discretion. I think it's fairly common in regards to the bingo and gambling, but you don't have to.
My feeling on that is I think we do need to keep that because you do have to go to the state and there's things that have to be filed. So there is some staff time involved with that. I'm gonna, let's see, Member Schilling, any comments, questions with what we removed? Keep?
Nope. And the application fee, I actually think we need to keep that in because it is a thing that we're collecting and understanding what's going on. There is a staff time involved. So I look at it as a quick application, Rob, if I'm not mistaken. So a $25 administrative, basically it's a document that we have to hang on to. So.
Correct.
Okay. Then I'm fine with
Okay.
leaving that one.
All right, Member Luger?
I agree with Member Schilling. The rest are fine that I would prefer to keep.
All right, Member Onstad? You're muted.
I think it streamlines it very well.
Thank you. Member Yeager?
What is the special one-day license fee?
I think I took that out of there. I think that was one I recommended.
Oh, okay, didn't recall you that one.
I'm not sure if it was discussed. I think in the past that we've used that for potential when there's a fee in regards to like a one-day liquor, a liquor license, like if it was a temporary permit, things like that, we've applied that too, but it's extremely rare that we do use that.
Well, that and a $10 fee, would that reimburse any staff time?
Minimally.
Okay, so I think by what I'm hearing is that we're in agreement that what we listed off will be taken off and put at 0 or taken off altogether, Mr. Linwood?
We can make those changes just so we're clear in council's on this. We would be removing the annual license fee for entertainments, both the lines for bowling alleys, both the lines for pool halls. We would be removing the annual licenses for public dance and then the public dance for nonprofit, the game room license fee, then the special one-day license fee. Those would all be removed from the fee schedule.
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That's really kind of all I have on that. So I'm going to open it up. Member Luker, do you have any questions on the fees, the other fees as well?
I don't. Nope.
Okay. Member Onstad?
No questions.
All right. Member Yeager?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No, none with those. No, chapter 6, no.
Okay. How about any of the others?
I think we highlighted all the red line changes that we're looking at, and we didn't have any other requests in here that I saw. Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So if there are no further questions or comments, we do need a motion to approve resolution 21-01-04.
Member Schilling, so moved.
All right. Do we have a second?
Onstad, second.
All right. And roll call, please. Member Yeager?
I would vote aye, but do we need to mention in the motion that these particular fees in chapter 6 are going to be removed?
Let's see, Lawyer Lunan, Mr. Lunan, do we need to put that in there?
If we want to just take can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if we want to just take care of it and have it be done right now, then yes. But as Administrator Linwood indicated, the important thing is adopting the schedule, and we can change those later. But I think for the matter of efficiency, I think we just go ahead and note that and make those changes right now for those items.
Okay, Member Yeager, would you like to make that motion with the changes, please?
Well, I would like to make a friendly amendment to the motion to remove from Chapter 6, Amusements and Entertainments, the annual license fee, the annual license fees for bowling alleys, both lines, annual license fee for pool hall, both lines, annual license fee for public dance, and public dance fee conducted by a nonprofit organization, game room license fees, and special one-day license fee.
All right, and Mr. Member Onstad, would you like to make that second, seeing you seconded the?
Yes, I'd like to second it with the amendments.
Awesome. All right, and roll call, please. Member Schilling,
Aye.
Member Yeager,
Aye.
Member Luger,
Aye.
Member Onstad,
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. They do pass. All right, we're going to go on to open forum. Mr. Linwood, do we have anybody that would like to speak at the open forum?
Mayor Iverson, we do not have anyone that signed up.
All right, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for December 15th, 2020. If there are no comments or questions, we need a motion to approve.
Member Schilling, so moved.
Member Schilling makes the first. Do we have a second?
Member Luger will second.
Member Luger makes the second, and we'll do roll call, please. Let me get rid of all my paperwork here. All right, Member Schilling,
Aye.
Member Yeager,
Aye.
Member Luger,
Aye.
Member Onstad,
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 8, consider approving the minutes of the special meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for December 22nd, 22. If there are no comments or questions, do we have a motion to approve?
Member Luger, so moved.
Member Luger makes the first. Do we have a second?
Member Schilling will second.
Member Schilling makes the second. Roll call, please. Member Onstad,
Aye.
Member Luger,
Aye.
Member Yeager,
Aye.
Member Schilling,
Aye.
and Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. We don't have any public hearings today. I'll move on to the consent agenda. Number 9, 10, 11, and 12. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion? If there are none, do we have a motion to approve consent agenda 9, 10, 11, and 12?
Schilling, so moved.
Member Schilling makes the first. Do we have a second?
Onstad will second.
Councilmember Onstad makes that second. Roll call, please. Member Yeager,
Aye.
Member Luger,
Aye.
Member Onstad,
Aye.
Member Schilling,
Aye.
and Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Acknowledgement of reports from officers, boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 on our agenda. Does any council member wish to pull an item from the reports?
Member Yeager would like to pull item 13.
All right, we'll pull item number 13. Are there any others? All right, Member Yeager, number 13.
Right, I have a question about that COVID vaccination clinic.
Okay.
All right, which public health is looking to operate this clinic? Is it somebody's, yeah. Is it the state or the county?
So the vaccinations have been distributed to each of the counties, and the county public health are responsible for the dissemination of it. So each county is individually setting their schedules and their offsite clinics and stuff. So it would be Chisago County Public Health who is setting up our localized vaccination clinics.
Okay, and in that case, I see your estimated overtime expenses. Is it possible to get the county to, will the county reimburse those expenses or perhaps supply their own offices for security?
And that's certainly been part of the discussion that we've been having. Public health is requesting our assistance under the mutual aid agreements that we have during a pandemic or major event. Part of the requirements from the federal government was that they have to have law enforcement on site when the clinics are open. We've already asked the questions of whether there would be federal reimbursement for this overtime or not. That question as of this time is no, there is no funding, but that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be funding for reimbursement in the future. But considering the number of sites that they have to operate and the number of days and hours, the sheriff's department is not capable of providing all of that security in and of themselves, and have requested the assistance of the local law enforcement from North Branch Lakes area and Wyoming PD to assist when able and capable.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Chief Hoppy, is there a possibility that during, it is a budget session at the state capitol, has there been any conversation about the state paying for it?
I don't know if there's been any discussion at that level or not, but I will be involved in a couple of the COVID plan statewide meetings coming up in the next couple of weeks, and that will certainly be a topic of discussion, because I'm sure that we're not the only department that's been tasked by public health to assist in meeting these mandates. So I will certainly bring that up. That's already planned on part of the discussion with Minnesota Department of Health and Public Safety commissioners to maybe address that at the governor's or legislative offices.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's hope that gets done, right? That was a lot of money. So,
yep.
All right. If there are no further questions, we'll move on to communications, which is number 18. Joe, Mr. Triplett is on. I think I saw him somewhere on here.
Yes, I am here.
Hi, how are you, Mr. Triplett?
I'm very good, Mayor. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Same to council. I see that since the last time I was able to visit, there's a new member. So welcome, Member Onstead. I wanted to take this opportunity to give a little bit of an update as to how our little Trunk Highway 8 project is going. A few weeks back, I had the opportunity to meet with your staff, Mr. Linwood and Mr. Erickson and Mr. Weck. And just a note to Mayor and Council, we've been working pretty well together, and again, for me, it makes things a little easier when I'm dealing with MnDOT, and that's primarily why I'm back. Things have been progressing. However, we're to the point now where we need to prepare what's called a staff approved layout, and basically what that is a nice big picture of what we would like to bring forth to MnDOT for review and approval, and that will go through all their functional class groups. It's quite a process. So from our perspective, we like to have things not final designed, but certainly where we think we want to bring them to MnDOT. Just to rewind a little bit, one of the processes we had to go through was something called a value engineering study. So in essence, MnDOT pulled together another different consultant, included themselves, Federal Highway Administration, in on this group, and they basically look at your project, and in a few days they give you all sorts of ideas, some good, bad, and different. It's just something to chew on, so to speak. And what you'll see, what we'll go through here in a little bit is some of the ideas we liked. Some of them we're still working through, but we're required to actually answer each and every one of those ideas, so to speak. And most of what they had to comment on was that directly affects us. And when I say us, it's going to be us local agencies, counties and Chisago and Wyoming is primarily the intersections, and that's what I visited with your staff on, and that's what I'll be looking for input on as well. So I I think Rob, did they get a copy of the handout?
We did, Mr. Triplett, and
Okay.
if
We can
helpful at
just-
all, I can share my screen if there's anything you want to reference.
No, so part one of the handout is we did provide some of the background. So and specifically, member onset, if you've got any questions, certainly feel free to contact me at any time. I can definitely fill you in on how we got to where we're at. But we were required to pull together a few different corridor options as far as dealing with traffic control at these intersections. One of the big changes, or I don't want to say changes, so one of the big options that the review committee felt we should be considering are these reduced conflict intersections. And if you've been down Highway 65, you've seen them. These are cuts where you actually have to go with traffic, cross over traffic, and then make your turn, wait, and then you get going back the other way. These are they're certainly have their safety aspects and attributes. However, maybe for us in some of these corridor applications, they might not fit. So again, what I tasked your staff to do is to look at these as well, and how you think that not only from a maintenance standpoint, but from an operational standpoint, how you think they would fit. Again, nothing in stone. We're looking at something like this, or what they are today, a stop sign, stop controlled situation that in essence, we'd be setting up for at least putting the infrastructure in for a future signal should that come about. One of the other important things that we're trying to get across to MnDOT as well is the opportunity that we see for growth along the corridor, and specifically with some of these larger tracks that are undeveloped and that certainly could not only develop but then introduce a fair amount of traffic. We're trying to do what we can for now and then for the future as well. And sometimes that is easier said than done. Again, I'm looking to be able to give MnDOT our local input. I think one of the main reasons I'm sitting here doing this project, it's not a county road, but the last time this went through, MnDOT sort of we didn't get a lot of opportunities for our input. So I think from the county board's perspective, it was important for us to lead this project so that we can get as much public input, as much city input, county input into this project as possible. That's not to say we'll get everything we're looking for necessarily, but this is going to be we'll have a better opportunity doing it this way than trying to go at it with MnDOT. So I see Mark has got the one page up. So this is one of the reduced conflict intersections that I was referring to. They take a lot of room, and as you guys know from heading down the corridor, specifically once you get past Greenway and to the lakes, there isn't a lot of room, at least not without impacting both environmental impacts such as wetlands or certainly private property. So one of the goals, one of our goals, our team goals here was to reduce the impacts on not only the public property but the environmental impacts as well. So what if you look at these options, these preliminary corridor options, we've got plans A through G, and again, if you're looking through these, they've got different intersection controls at these different intersections. Again, nothing set in stone, but certainly what I'd be looking for is what the city is is maybe considering as option A, option B, option C. Are there any deal breakers, anything like that? So again, from my perspective, I'm sort of throwing this to your staff and to you guys to provide some input. We're right now sort of struggling with MnDOT on what we want for the character of this roadway. Again, I think we've been saying from the beginning that we're not looking for a 169 or a 65 where it's 65, 70 miles an hour, huge medians, and you're going just to go. We've done a lot of traffic counts, a lot of traffic information into this corridor. And what we found is there's an awful lot of trips within the corridor. So it's not just people blowing through to get to Wisconsin, to Cabin Country. It's not like you can get off the interstate and then set the cruise on 65 and go for a half an hour. Chisago City's right there. And then, you've got Lindstrom and Center City. So character is going to be an important element into how we want to design this 7 mile stretch. I'll be meeting with Chisago City Council next week, but really, I would like the city to take the step back and look at what kind of character do you want? Are you looking for something like Highway 96 down in Shoreview or Bunker Lake Boulevard, where you've got a 4-lane divided with a trail, and or are you looking for something like 169? So when we get into working alongside MnDOT and their geometrics unit, we can, we'll have a good idea of what we want to be designing. Oddly enough, one of the things offered up by this review committee was a 50 mile an hour speed limit from Greenway on. And initially, we didn't really think much of that, but if you take the step back and look at it, then we've got, if we've got another additional lane of traffic here, we can move more people. And again, we're still preserving the corridor. We're not having the speed racer go through. However, with that additional lane, we still have our drivers that want to go 40 and our drivers that want to go 70. But this would at least give us these gaps as well for these side streets. One of the things we heard at our public meetings more than a few occasions was about the bike trail on the north side of the road, the regional trail. And from people on the south side of Highway 8, how are they going to get over to that? So some of these intersection options are probably not really good to meet these pedestrian and bicycle needs along the corridor. So how do those needs fit into the city goals? Really looking at the intersection options. I'd really like for you guys to engage your planning commissions. Reviewing what the existing and proposed land uses are throughout that corridor, and how we can help guide this potential development and achieve these goals through this massive infrastructure project. As you know, we did get $8 million in the bonding bill, and a vast majority of that will go to defraying and offsetting these local frontage road costs. So again, another one of my goals was to build this thing without any city or council or county dollars into it. And right now, that was a huge win towards that goal. So again, if we're not only looking at these intersections, but if your planning commissions have some ideas on how land use is going to go, maybe we're looking at some different options when it comes to frontage roads or backage roads. And engage your engineer. Mark's been great through this process. WSB has a ton of talented, very, very, very smart people. Definitely can get me what they are thinking as far as these these needs or these requests, and really to be able to analyze this project from the city's perspective. And I certainly don't have any problem carrying that message forward to MnDOT. So really, they've had maybe a little head start on you, but I'd be certainly looking for any comments or any direction, maybe by the end of the month, so that we can start pulling together our layout. And we have not decided how we're going to do some more public involvement. COVID has really thrown the monkey wrench into that for us as well. This would have been a lot different process, I think, as if we were able to go along our normal public involvement path. And since we had that big meeting back in January, it was probably almost a year. We've been able to just sparingly talk to people, and really, I'd like to have more of that sort of input, specifically when we're pulling together our layout. So after our goals here is, after receiving comment from both city councils and both cities, then what we'd like to be able to do is pull those comments together, get something pulled together, and then we'll figure out how we're going to do some public outreach, so that again we can get these options or these proposed, whether they're intersections or the highway itself, we can get those out in front of the users, so that we can get any of that input, any red flags or anything like that, so that when we go back to MnDOT, we've got our proverbial ducks in a row.
Okay, so Mr. Triplett, what you're asking is, I just want to be clear, that we kind of talk as a council, also with our engineering. And I guess I would also like to say that we probably would discuss with Chief Hoppy as well, based on safety issues and Mr. Almgeld. So, Mr. Linwood, is this something we want to put on for our work session, or does this need some more, like a separate time?
No, I think that was going to be my comment when we discussed that work session item, our last item of the night. I think this should be added. I think it's an opportunity for the council to have some time to take a harder look at this and provide staff some input, and likewise, we certainly have some comments probably to share with the council too on this, and get that information back to Mr. Triplett. I think we'll have Mr. Weck provide the planning commission as well, to see if they can provide some comments as well.
Okay, and Mr. Triplett, my only question is this: Greenway, Pioneer, I think, is there 4 roundabouts on this road?
No. At this point, Mayor, there aren't looking. The only the only roundabout that is most likely to happen is down at Carmel, where it's back to a single lane.
Yeah.
MnDOT does not like, even though the review committee did throw a few of them out in one of these options, one of these corridor plans, but the multi-lane roundabouts are not being used by MnDOT, and they've had issues with them in the past, so I don't think those would be an option. Again, the one at Carmel, at the east end of the project, is when we're back down to just 2 lanes. So at this point, Mayor, there aren't any roundabouts planned, proposed.
I'm thinking that's the sign for it though, right?
Yes.
I do enough roundabouts in my day job now. Where I'm
Nope. You are correct.
A lot of roundabouts. So, all right.
Yep.
So we'll add this to our work session meeting when we get down to number 20. And then council, any quick questions right now? Obviously, we really need to take a look at this. Yeah, it's a lot. So
yes.
and I'm going to rely on Chief Hoppy, Mr. Erickson, and Mr. Almgeld to really help us dive into this. But any questions right now with Mr. Triplett?
No.
Let's go with Member Yeager.
On the reduced conflict intersection, Do you have figures about, you referenced that they have these on Highway 65. Do you have figures about on the traffic volumes of each road and the
So, yeah,
suitability of that kind of solution?
so one of the reasons that they like these is because of the less amount of traffic on the side streets. So while we don't have, I don't have those in front of me. Certainly, that was what the traffic engineers were looking at when they were proposing something like this. Now, one of the issues we have with these are they actually, if you go and find a couple of these up 65, you'll see they have room to do this. So if for instance the one they were proposing on Hamlet and any of these really, we have to construct what's called a loon head, and that's actually almost a bump out for trucks to use. So if you wanted to cross the there you go, thanks Mark. So that the blue there is what's called the loon head. So if you were on the south side of if you were coming out of the if you just got a new puppy or a new kitten and you wanted to get going back to the interstate, say, you would have to go just like Mark's hand's doing there. You'd have to cross both those lanes of traffic, get in your own turn lane, and then wait for traffic, and then make that loop, cross the traffic, and get back on. So we have our own concerns with these. Not only from, you can see where those are right next to people's houses. We also have concerns with all the lanes of traffic you're crossing. We have concerns with it running into the right-hand turn lane there for Hamlet. So, I mean, we could push these out as well, but again, from I guess from an operational standpoint, is this, if we're doing this from scratch, is this what we want? A lot of times you see these, like the ones in 65, where you've got speed issues, where you have larger medians, and there isn't anything else to do but retrofit these in. And while they can work and do work, if we're starting from scratch and expecting some development to happen on either side here, maybe these aren't the greatest. I certainly maybe have tipped my hand as to what I think, but I'd certainly defer and would like to get the city's input on something like this as well. And this is something that from our perspective, that not only the local agencies get to comment on, but certainly the traveling public. And again, if this was a normal year, we'd have another big public meeting, and we'd be able to get these out in front of everyone as well.
You see, my concern is you're coming up, and then you have to cross over to get to your loop head. While you slow down to do the crossover, you get rear-ended by somebody coming up behind you if there's a lot of traffic on the road.
Yeah, I kind of echo that as well. These do have their place. You're only dealing with traffic coming from one direction, sure, but again, there might be some added movements here where maybe we just don't have to do that, and we can control better with either signal timing, or we can push. Maybe we move this intersection from Hamlet. We move it to the east a couple of streets. Not entirely sure, but again, this is part of that input process that we're looking for.
Okay. Also, on the paved side streets, all those purple lines.
Yep.
Can the county give some assurance about who's going to pay for them? Like city policy is unpaved, the resident pays 100% assessment. But if this is a county project, I would hope that the county might relieve the city residents of that burden.
So to that end, we'll build whatever you want, number one, but number two, my intent all along has been to be able to build all of this infrastructure with the state and federal funds. Okay. So I'm looking to put in pavement right away.
All right, and Member Onstad, you had some questions?
No, they've been answered.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Erickson, just a quick question for you, please. When we discuss this, and technology is an amazing thing, you don't have anything that kind of will show cars kind of on that and kind of a little more realistic view of what this might look like? Do you have
Yes,
computer
we certainly
generated
could.
maybe?
We could certainly prepare something to that effect that really would be more like a visualization. Is that kind of what you're referring to? That would really
Yeah,
show
please.
automated with vehicles moving on it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's been something that has been prepared already, Joe, or not, but I think that's something that we certainly could prepare ourselves. There may be some similar intersections and not necessarily what we see here with this plan, but similar intersections that we could to look to provide more of a visualization. But we do have a visualization expert that I'm not sure if he can pull it together by Wednesday or not, based on his workload, but I could certainly check into that to see if we can have that, something like that, just ready for viewing at our work session.
And I'll see, Mark, if we've already got that done. I don't know yet. I know we had discussed doing something along those lines too. So I will check with our consultant and I'll let you know tomorrow morning.
That would be great. I think it's very helpful, especially if we put it on our website or we share with other people. Sometimes it really helps to have that visualization besides just the different colors and stuff. So that's how my brain works, at least.
No,
So.
I totally agree, because these are different. No, they're like roundabouts are different, and people can get used to those. These are a different tool in the old proverbial highway toolbox as well.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Mr. Triplett, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention, and we'll make sure we get your comments once we get everybody involved with this. And my understanding is you would like it by the end of the month.
Yeah. So again, if we can, that would be great. We still want to keep things moving forward and really working towards our next big public involvement, public engagement. So we still need to we still have more than a few moving parts here to nail down before we get to there. This is this will be an awful big one for me, because again, I'm really looking to be able to do what you guys want to do with this project. This is one of the bigger ones in our that not only affects our county, but certainly Chisago and certainly Wyoming. So I'd like to be able to get it right.
Yeah, it also, it also affects any type of our expansion or building businesses coming in too. So that's, I agree with you. It's very important to get the Planning Commission involved as well. So, all right, Mr. Triplett, thank you very much. And we look forward to talking to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you all, and have a good evening.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business number 19, to consider starting the hiring process for a full-time maintenance worker position, worker 1 position. Mr. Umjald, I think you're going to be taking us on this one.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. City Council members, the Wyoming City Council approved a full-time maintenance worker 1 position for the 2021 budget year, and at a rate of $24.31 to $29.54 an hour, based on qualifications. The wages from the 2021 wages for the local 49ers union contract, the new one for 21 through 23. The new position is being split equally between the water, sewer, and surface water enterprise funds, as we discussed in the budgeting. And the main responsibilities for this position have not changed since we hired a maintenance worker 1. It's to perform non-supervisory manual labor, assist in maintenance tasks, operate a variety of equipment, participate in snow plowing, routine maintenance tasks, and of course, respond to emergencies and be on call. We would post this on the League of Minnesota Cities website and any other applicable areas that HR wanted to put them in. Once the position has closed, staff will review and score the applicants received from potential candidates. Qualified candidates will be contacted for interviews, and we will select based on the skill set and the candidate that would serve the city of Wyoming's Public Works Department most effectively. Once a candidate is selected, it would be brought forward to the city council for approval at that time. So our recommended action would be that recommend a maintenance worker one position be advertised on the League of Minnesota Cities and any other areas, HRCs, to begin that hiring process. And with that, I can take any questions.
All right, thank you. Let's start with Member Yeager. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. The job description has the employee will be filling potholes. Aren't filling potholes usually taken out of the levy money rather than the utility money?
Right, our public works staff, maintenance workers are, have the skill set of all the departments. We don't have specific job titles. They're called maintenance workers. But as we discussed in the budgeting process, over 1,000 hours of this person's wages are in surface water. And, so that's where the majority of it is. And we changed the job description where it said parks to surface water, because that's what we'd be focused on in the hiring process.
Okay. I was more wondering if it was permissible to take the time spent filling potholes out of simply utility funds.
Yeah, it would be the same as a street worker working in utilities, because they're all on call when it's their turn, and they need to know all the duties of the job.
Okay. See, my concern is that as I was campaigning, a lot of people were upset about their utility bills. And I don't know if, you're going to have another rate increase that we just passed. So I don't know if adding a new position is wise at this time. I'm also concerned with that we spent more than $50,000, $60,000 on upgrading technology in remote meter reading, SCADA. I mean, this would allow the workers' duties to be streamlined, and with that time filled up, not filled up, rather freed up, would it also, can they take the extra 1,000 hours needed for, I guess, MS4 surface water things, can be redistributed among the existing workers?
Well, we had talked about the growth of the city with developments, and which includes, the extra streets, water, sewers, surface water. Then it's been 13 years also we talked about since we have added any employees. And of course, you continue with technology to become more efficient, and then policies and procedures. And we always strive to continue to be more efficient. But at this point, we're looking at hiring another employee, and as we discussed in the budgeting process. So.
Yeah, I think too, to add to Mr. Almgeld, I think we went through this quite specifically in regards to the necessary duties that we have to do as a city, as an MS4 city, and the necessary components of that employee. As Mr. Almgeld said, we continue to grow as an organization and with developments. And I think, as he stated, we have not hired a new public works employee or added to that staff since 2008 or 2007. So there has been a significant amount of time since there's actually been an extra employee down there. I think the tasks continue to grow. And I think that we have done our best to try to streamline that. And that technology will allow us not only to try to help not to have to hire more employees. So really, I think the steps that we've been doing have really been prudent for the city and its growth, and to really try to be considerate of those taxpayer dollars and those utility funds.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Member Schilling.
Just to kind of piggyback off of everybody a little bit here. One of the way I understood it when we were talking about this through budgeting and adding this position in, like we said, we haven't added somebody in 13 years. How many homes have gone in since then? How many other little tiny roundabouts and development roads have gone in the last 13 years? I'm one of them homes. My development over here, the development's on the other side. by us streamlining with our technology, I think that's great for us. I think that will ease a little bit of that manual workload, administrative manual workload. But in my opinion, we have grown and we're going to continue to grow. And I think by us cleaning it up on the administrative side and the technology side, it allows us to do a little more of the labor side of things. And I guess I've never had a problem with this, even in the beginning discussions. So.
All right,
Yeah.
Thank you. Member Luker.
I don't have any concerns either. We've talked about this for months and as part of the budget process. And so this wasn't something that was unexpected or surprised. I think it's an investment in the services that we provide to our residents. So I really have no questions or concerns on it.
Thank you. Member Onstad.
I would have one question. I would ask, is it fair to say that projects are being passed over because we don't have adequate staff, that we're having to prioritize and maybe some projects get left behind because we don't have enough staff?
Yes, Councilmember Onstead, most of them duties were in surface water. And so, and we had discussed them before at the budget, and they were mostly daily tasks that you would perform on surface water and monthly tasks. And also, we have went through the budget process to get a new surface water budget. So that'll help a lot.
Mr. Linwood, can I ask a question? We were talking about a storyboard with stormwater fees. Did that go up on the website yet?
We're not. We're going to probably post that up this week as part of that stormwater rate study. We worked with WSB, or I shouldn't say we worked with, but a component of that WSB created a storyboard for our stormwater and all those necessary operations that we have to do as an MS4 city, and a lot of the different activities that we have to make sure that we're completing. We most likely will put that up this week. It is ready. We did some extra review on that storyboard. So we'll be putting that in the stormwater section of the city website where it'll talk about the rate study and a lot of those stormwater activities. So we'll be sharing that on social media as well this week. So you can probably anticipate that either tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday.
I think that'll be a huge help because it is a very intricate and hard to understand stormwater fee runoff and all that. Although I know when I was campaigning, I met a lot of residents who were definitely very interested in the environment, and they're going to totally understand what happens with salt and the different things that go into our water and not want that. So we did budget this item. We did talk about it a very long time. Lots of discussions and points were made on it. So I'm in favor of it as well. So if there are no more questions, I think I got everybody. We need a motion to approve the hiring process for a full-time maintenance worker 1 position. Do we have a motion to approve? Again, I would like to just reiterate that this is in the 2021 budget.
So like,
all right, Member Onstead makes the first and Member Schilling makes the second.
Yes.
Awesome. You guys are doing great. All right, so we'll go ahead and roll call, please. Member Yeager?
Nay.
Member Luger?
Aye.
Member Onstead?
Aye.
Member Schilling?
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 20, to consider a Wyoming City Council work session meeting on January 13th, 2020 at 6 p.m. to discuss the City of Wyoming long-term plan, franchise fees, Wald Architect needs assessment in the 2021 East Viking Utility Project. Mr. Linwood, do you want to discuss this a little bit more or add anything?
Sure.
We are going to add the streets to the Highway 8 project.
Yes, Mayor Iverson, members of council, yeah, that would be the recommendation from staff that we use an opportunity for the work session to add that Highway 8. Essentially, these items to continue our discussions on the long-term plan and how we'll move forward with our moving forward with our capital improvement plan for our street projects. So those are tied together. We'd like to continue discussions with Wold Architects as far as the facility needs assessments for the city.
Okay, so I'm going to look around the view here. Did everybody check their calendars for January 13th at 6 p.m.? Is there anybody who cannot attend? Okay, it looks like we're all good with that. So we need a motion to approve the Wyoming City Council work session meeting for January 13th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Will this be by Zoom?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so by Zoom. All right. Do we have a motion to approve? I'll make that first. Do we have a second?
Member Lugar will second.
Member Lugar makes that second. Roll call, please. Member Schilling.
Aye.
Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Lugar.
Aye.
And Member Onstead.
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is an aye, so that does pass. All right, so we're going to do council reports. And let's start with Member Schilling, because he looks like he is set and ready to go.
Not that much. I did attend our closed session meeting. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And yeah, we haven't had any meetings because of the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to the next sewer commission meeting, the next EDA meeting of the year. So thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
All right, thank you. Let's go. Member Yeager.
I attended the December 22nd special meeting, and thank you all for watching.
All right, and Member Lugar.
I also attended the special session as well as the Park Advisory Commission meeting last night. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. All right. And Member Onstead, do you have anything you'd like to say through your first meeting?
Well, I haven't been to any previous meetings, although I was previously on the park board. That was last night, and I did miss that meeting and missed being there. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with that board and to hear the progress that's going on. A couple great people have just joined, and I'm pretty happy about that I left it in good shape. So
that's awesome. Yeah, welcome to the council. I attended all the meetings that everybody already talked about, and it was fairly quiet. It was nice to have that break before we get started again. Just one thing I'd like to bring up, and 10 o'clock tonight on Channel 5, KSTP, our retired council member, Joe Zirwas, is going to be on Channel 5. So definitely you want to tune into that and see what he has to say. Definitely missed him tonight. Let's see. I would like to really quickly hear if Mr. Erickson is still on. I don't know if he's.
I'm on, Mayor.
Oh, good. You know what? We did have an open house earlier in the month because we do have a project coming up. Anything you can update us with that project, how that open house went? It wasn't really an open house, but a virtual one.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. We did have a fairly good showing via Zoom. We had a meeting that we held virtually. We shared with the audience really more or less the process for our public improvement projects, what the project consisted of, and really gave them some ideas of timeline and what they could expect for process. We didn't have our feasibility study completed. It was more or less really give them an opportunity to learn about the project and share with us some concerns or things that they were aware of that we should include in our feasibility study. And so we did get some feedback from property owners. There was good discussion. There really wasn't a lot of feedback that was negative, that we didn't want the project, at least not that I can recall. Mr. Linwood, correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection was that there was a pretty positive meeting. And we're scheduled likely to bring this feasibility study to the second meeting here in January or the first meeting in February. We have a couple of things we need to finalize on that. And then we'd be setting the public hearing following that. construction is going to lag a little bit. It wouldn't be a first thing in the spring project. We're looking at starting that construction after our sanitary sewer improvement project on East Viking. It's just a lot going on in that area, and we don't want to clutter traffic more than we need to. But we do think it's a nice project and one that is definitely needed based on our road ratings that we've been completed. But again, good feedback at the neighborhood meeting.
All right, great. Thank you. I
Mayor,
believe
I have a
that
question. I have a
Member
question.
Yeager.
Yes, Mark, at that open house, there were a couple of residents who expressed concern of how far the repairs on Glen Oak were going down, if they would go all the way to 259th or all the way to where the road changes where 259th, when 259th was built.
Yeah, so there's a couple of comments from property owners, and I think what we plan to do is just include that as an option in our feasibility study. We've talked internally after that, and again, it's a totally different type of project, it is contiguous to this area, and I'll try to explain that in a little bit more detail when I have a map that I can share that with Councilmember Yeager. But I do plan to include some discussion on that topic at the point where we bring the feasibility study to the city council. But a couple of property owners had raised concern that they'd like to see the project expanded, essentially. And so we held the project limits to the point that we did for a reason, and that's certainly not to say that we can't consider that. And so again, we'll share that additional information at the point where we bring the feasibility study to the city council.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Erickson. And Mr. Hoppy, I have a question for you. You're on mute. There you go. All right, so there have been some speed changes, some speed sign changes over on Viking. And I've seen a lot of comments about that. Just wondering what you're hearing, and are people starting to really kind of pay attention to the speed instead of it going 100 miles an hour down there?
Well, I think the Public Works Department did a fantastic job of highlighting those speed signs. So very well planned out and strategic on really raising some awareness. I've been out there myself and just monitoring it just to see if it's having an impact. And from what I'm seeing, it is having an impact. We are seeing some speed reduction. They put the flags up there, but even the display sign, just really sticks out as they're coming from Polaris. So we'll probably do some social media work with it here shortly, just kind of highlighting it. And then maybe do a formal speed survey to see what the actual impact has been.
That's great. Thank you. I know that's been a problem over there, so I really appreciate it. All right, so looks like we're done for the night. I do need a motion to adjourn. Councilmember Zeros is not, we need somebody to replace that. So who would like to make that motion to adjourn?
So moved, Member Schilling.
Oh, nice, thanks, Member Schilling. So Member Schilling will now be taking that place of making that first motion for adjournment. Do we have a second?
Onstead will second.
And Member Onstead starting off great. So he's going to make that second. So really appreciate that. And kind of all at once, A or nay. So on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. So we're adjourned. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you soon. Be safe.